Well, good evening viewers, and welcome to the commemorative area of the Australian War Memorial for this special last post ceremony. My name is Richard Cruz. Shortly, a current serving member of the Australian Defence Force will read this evening's story. We would like to acknowledge the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria and RSL Queensland, who continue to watch the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the Australian National Anthem. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Now we will hear the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and operations for more than a century.
Good evening. My name is Captain Lisa Batchelor. I'm currently serving with the Royal Australian Navy. Today we remember and pay tribute to Lance Corporal William Robinson, who died while fighting in France during the First World War. William Robinson was born in 1891 to Robert and Mary Ann Robinson of Rouse on the Richmond River in far north New South Wales. Known as Hardy to his family and friends, he attended Rouse Public School and worked on the family property Fernholm before moving to Dorrigo in the Northern Tablelands. There he worked as a farmer, played cricket in the summer and football in the winter, and was a well-respected member of the Dorrigo community. According to the local newspaper, Robinson enlisted like the true sportsman he was and responded to the call of arms as soon as his personal affairs allowed him to do so. Having previously been rejected on account of a weak ankle, he successfully enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force at Armidale in October of 1916. He spent some time training at the Liverpool military camp near Sydney and embarked several weeks later for England with reinforcements to the 1st Battalion. Robinson arrived at the Western Front in May 1917, joining the 1st Battalion at Le Transloy on the Somme. He participated in his first major action on the Western Front when the 1st Battalion participated in the Battle of Menin Road, just outside of Ypres, Belgium, on the 20th of September 1917. He also fought at Brucendia in October, describing it in a letter home as a clear run-over. Fritz did not stand a minute. You should have heard our guns. No army can stand against them. The Australians remained in Belgium until the German Spring Offensive the following year, whereupon they returned to France to defend the strategically important city of Amiens on the Somme. In April, the 1st Battalion was sent to defend the rail hub at Hazebrouck from falling into enemy hands, and later engaged in a series of carefully coordinated trench raids against German positions outside the town of Metteren. Around this time, Robinson was promoted to Lance Corporal. Robinson was seriously wounded in the stomach and hip during a daylight raid on the 16th of June, which drew German machine gun fire as the raiding party crossed no man's land. One of his comrades reported, "I was within 3 yards of him when a machine gun opened fire and hit him. He left here in a critical condition, but later reports say the doctor had good hopes on account of his fine constitution." Robinson was evacuated to the 2nd Casualty Clearance Station, where he later succumbed to his wounds and died, aged 26. He was buried at the Eblingham Military Cemetery, where a small epitaph on his headstone, written by his grieving mother, reads, "After duty nobly done, comes rest." William Robinson's name is listed on the Roll of Honour, amongst almost 62,000 others from the First World War. This is just one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Lance Corporal William Robinson, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. Lest we forget.
We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you for watching and wish you all a very good evening.